Guess I need to move there. Keep going. Hmm?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wealth Building Wednesday. Wealth Building Wednesday is brought to you by the WK Kellogg Foundation and their TRHT initiative. TRHT stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation, and that is exactly what we're trying to do here in Selma. We are one of 14 sites across the country, making sure that we promote the truth, that we tell the truth, that we speak that truth in love. We promote racial healing and create transformation. And as a part of that transformation, Wealth Building Wednesday is a 30-minute show. Yeah, 30 minutes, real quick, right? We're going to share lots of great information with you. We talk to leading experts in the field of finance, workforce development. Hint, hint about our guest today. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with each and every one of our viewers. Take time to like, comment, and share because we have an awesome show lined up for you today. 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. We air live on Facebook on the Selma Center for Nonviolence Facebook page, as well as the Black Belt Community Foundation Facebook page. And then we rebroadcast the audio of this show on our media partner, WBFZ 105.3 FM, which broadcasts 50,000 watts all across the Black Belt of Alabama. So we are excited today to have Mr. Raji Gourdine, who is an awesome man who is a leading expert in the field of workforce development. He is helping to lead as a dean on the campus of Wallace Community College here in Selma and their Demopolis campus. So he is the man with the plan. It is indeed a pleasure to have you here. Good morning, Mr. Gourdine.
Good morning, Ms. Chapman, and thank you for that gracious introduction.
It's telling the truth. Listen, truth, racial healing, and transformation is telling the truth. And you are definitely a part of the transformation of our city. So, just to give the folks an idea of who we're talking to this morning, I'd love for you to just share whatever you'd like to share with our viewers about who you are and what you do at Wallace Community College.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Chapman. Again, my name is Raji Gourdine. I've been in Selma for the last 30 years, working at Wallace Community College. I've been honored to be able to serve for the last 4 or 5 years as the Dean of Technical Programs and Workforce Development. That's the title of our show today. So, in my job as Dean of Workforce Development, my job is to really help develop the workforce here in Selma, Dallas County, and the whole service area of the college, which extends from Dallas County all the way to Sumter County, West Alabama, and all the western counties in the Black Belt. The initiative of workforce development has been expanded by the Alabama Community College system to include helping existing and new businesses coming into Selma and our surrounding areas, and to help develop the workforce to be ready for those jobs that are coming. We know that, especially during the pandemic, we see that there's so many job openings, and what we're seeing is that there's a shortage of workers who have the skills that new companies are looking for. And so our job here at the college is to help prepare residents of this region for those high wage, high skill jobs. And our focus is to make sure we focus on those high skill, high paying jobs so people can have a living wage, can take care of their families and be productive.
Amen. Listen, now see, you are giving a preview to the direction that this conversation is going when you say living wage. So I do though want to just ask you really quickly, what are the key things? Like, so if I'm coming into your office for an interview, what are some of the key things that you look for when you're interviewing, or what are you considering when you're interviewing someone for a job?
Very good question. We consider several things. We first look at the specific job they're applying for to see if that person meets the minimum qualifications. So we look at their education, we look at skills, we look at certifications first to see if they meet those qualifications as stated in the job announcement. Secondly, we look at other things such as how that person interviews, and this is so important that people miss it, how the person comes dressed for the interview. That is so critically important. Are you aware of what's appropriate business attire for a job interview? Some people will say, well, I'm coming for a job that's not it's a factory job, so I can come dressed in my jeans and t-shirt. That's what I work in. But that's not the case. Employers want to see, do you put your best foot forward? Are you conscious about presenting a positive image of yourself? Remember, you want to apply for the job, and you want to realize that you're not, especially with younger people, you're not going to be interviewed by someone your age typically. You're going to get interviewed by somebody my age or older, and our views of the workforce are more concrete and more conservative. So you think conservative in how you dress, tuck your shirt in, neat, be clean, appropriate, conservative colors that you wear. Um, we encourage men not to wear jewelry. Women, if you wear jewelry, let it be very conservative, um, because you never want an earring or a hairstyle to present you from getting a high-paying job. You can always pull your hair back. You can always take an earring out of your ear. Um, but if you miss an opportunity to get a job that's starting at $20 an hour because of an earring, that's really not worth missing out on good opportunity. So how you dress is important. Um, we look at how the person interacts, how they answer questions. Can they answer a complete question? Do they understand and comprehend questions that are presented to them? Do they smile during the interview? What is their um, body language? Are they communicating effectively that they want to be there, they're present? I tell people your interview begins the moment you drive on that work site. Many work sites have cameras throughout their parking lot, their parking deck. They talk to the receptionist at the front desk. If you come to interview for a job, but you get smart with the receptionist, you better believe that HR is going to ask that person, how was this person when they came in? Did they have a good attitude? In the parking deck, is their car clean? Did they come in playing loud music? Now, you may say all that is not fair questions to ask, but we're human, so people look at that. The third thing that people look for, and we don't do this necessarily at the college, but several colleges research your social media footprint. They look at your post on Facebook, Instagram, all the other platforms, and they have departments that can research what you post. We've seen recently that people have lost their jobs and contracts and livelihood because of posts they've placed 5, 10 years ago that may have been very controversial or inappropriate, racist, or whatever. So what you say on social media is out there forever. So don't post things that will come back to haunt you later. And so we tell people to clean up your social image, your social media image. Take things down that are you may have done when you were young and you know did some crazy things, but that is important. So we look at several of those things: how that person speaks in the interview, are they using correct grammar? If it's a female, are they wearing excessive jewelry or long exaggerated fingernails? They wear 4-inch long eyelashes. That's inappropriate in an interview. Remember, you're coming for a job. You're not going to a club or a party or a picnic. And so you got to dress accordingly and act accordingly.
I am so glad that you have pointed out these things because it is so important for us to consider who we're walking into the interview with, right? And the
Yes.
idea of being a little conservative or more so conservative than we may be in our day-to-day lives is an excellent idea, and it's practice, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
thing that you brought up about social media, yes, and we have a viewer who just said something about the social media that is so important because I don't think people really understand that it's a person's whole job, depending on the corporation that you're applying for, to do the social media search. And I've heard people say, I've had young people tell me, "But Miss Lydia, my page is set on private." Honey, the WWW stands for World Wide Web. If they can hack into your bank account, don't you think they can get into your Snapchat or Facebook?
Exactly.
So let's be clear that we need to be mindful of the things that we're saying and what we're posting, what we're sharing. Now, we've unfortunately entered into this thing called cancel culture. That's really not giving a whole lot of room for people to be redeemed or have any type of reconciliation. We'll work through that. But in the meantime, let's just be mindful of what we're sharing on our social media platforms. So now, what exactly is this thing called workforce development? Because what you just spoke to, I think, is a part of workforce development. What exactly is workforce development?
Workforce development is really developing the workforce in simpler terms. It's helping its government agencies and other agencies helping to create and sustain a viable workforce. And so that's helping people to develop a good resume, interviewing skills, other technical skills needed on the job. That's basically workforce development in a nutshell, getting people ready for the digital age, these new jobs. Um, um, Bush Hog locally, they're going to be developing a whole line of robotic welders, and so they're working to get people ready for transitioning to be robotic welders. How to use expensive $200,000 robotic arms, and so it takes a different mindset, a different skill set, and it takes teamwork to be able to work in these complex new environments that are out there. Working at a chicken plant, they use very high tech equipment to cut those chicken nuggets into their form. They use a laser cutter. That's a lot of technology in that plant. Amazon uses something called, and most big companies like Amazon, something called the Internet of Things. And that's the system that controls those autonomous moving devices throughout the warehouse. And you see on the commercials, they're moving seamlessly by themselves, but that's being programmed by someone, by a technician. That's being monitored by someone in the plant. And when that breaks down, they need people who know how to fix those things, program, and troubleshoot. And that's part of what we do at many of our programs here at the college is teach students how to work in these complex environments and this changing environment. 30 years ago, you didn't need all these tech skills, but now you have to have these technology skills, team building skills, and they want to see how do you problem solve, how do you process information, how do you approach the problem. Many many job interview tests are problem solving tests. They want to see how you think. So that's very, very important.
So now you've already started mentioning, I'd love for you to help us further understand the role that WCCS is playing in the area of workforce development. So what are you all currently offering? Are there any programs that we need to get enrolled in? Any opportunities that you'd love our viewers and listeners to learn more about?
I'm glad you asked that question. We have several programs in our workforce development department. One is called the Ready to Work program. This program is a state funded and state organized program that will teach students how to interview for a job, how to problem solve, precision measurements, financial literacy, all the tasks that industries have told us they need students to have when they come on their jobs. They will go through this program. It's roughly a 6 to 8 week program, and it's free of charge. Students can call 876-9420, the Workforce Development Department, to sign up for Ready to Work. We also have a program called Shift to Success. This is a program where we take a group of students and we train them for 8 weeks. The beauty about this program, we will pay them $9 an hour while in the program, and we will give them more enhanced skills like we'll give them industry credentials like NCCR certifications, MSSC certifications, these other certifications that are needed in the industry, in the manufacturing industry. And we pay for those assessments for them. And we also help those students to earn at $9 an hour. Now, this is funded through a grant that we wrote with the Regions Bank Foundation and Wallace Community College. And we thank them as partners for helping to fund that initiative. So basically, we have Ready to Work and Shift to Success. We also have Adult Basic Education, has free job training programs for students who may not have completed a high school diploma, but they can get you on a career pathway so we can get you into gainful employment. We also have our credit level programs in welding, industrial maintenance, electrical, drafting, masonry, also patient care technician, nursing programs that prepare students for the workforce for high wage, high demand jobs here in our region.
Well, I tell you what, Wallace is doing a lot, sounds like, to help make sure that our region continues to grow, and that's something that I know a lot of folks are really concerned about. When we think about wealth building and the fact that our Dallas County, where WCCS is based, and you have satellite campuses, Dallas County used to be the fourth most wealthy county in the entire United States. So in order to get there again, right, but based on our knowledge and not based on being, weight being pressed against the backs of an enslaved people. We want to make sure that we get there and that we're taking advantage of these resources like Shift to Success, like Ready to Work, and so many other programs. I know I want to share personally because you told me about this thing and I want to get my CDL.
Yes, I'm glad you brought
the
it up.
CDL program.
We have a new initiative for females where we have a scholarship to pay for any female who wants to take truck driving free of charge. And you can contact Miss Jennifer Reynolds at 876-9235. That's 876-9235. That's Miss Jennifer Reynolds. This is a CDL program, a commercial driving license program to help females get their CDL A license to drive the big rigs, 18-wheelers. We have a very successful program out of Craigfield and in Demopolis. We will graduate close to 75 students by the end of this next class. And we have a 100% job placement rate. We have a 99% completion rate. Great completion rate numbers and great job placement numbers. Have excellent lead instructor, Mr. Tyrone Hatcher. Many of you know him as Tiny Boat in Selma, but he is our lead instructor, and they're getting people jobs before they graduate from that program. So it's a great program. Even if you are not a female, we have scholarships available for anyone who wants to take truck driving. We encourage you to go to CareerLink here in Selma and apply first. If that funding is not available, then come to the college and we have additional scholarships where you will be able to qualify to take that program. And so we're very excited about truck driving. It's growing by leaps and bounds. And again, we have a special emphasis on getting more females into that truck cab. And you can contact Jennifer Reynolds at 876-9235.
This is wonderful information, and one of our viewers actually just commented that this is a great opportunity in light of the truck driving shortage. And that is so true, Mr. Harris, that, right now, a lot of us are complaining because when we try to order things from various companies, like it seems to take forever. And a part of that is not because it's not able to be produced, but, COVID has caused a lot of things to back up. And a part of that is the lack of truck drivers. So if you are interested in getting on the road, and Mr. Gourdine, just kind of share, truck drivers make a pretty good amount of money, right?
Yes, and we have drivers starting at $50,000. They can drive interstate, state to state. Local drivers make a little bit less, but if you're willing to go out of state and travel, the sky's the limit. They can make $50,000-$60,000 a year or more. Some are making $100,000 a year. Those are driving coast to coast. Mm-hmm. And so that the opportunities are unlimited. Of course, they're paying more up north and on the West Coast. That's where most of our shipping containers come in through the Port of Los Angeles. But we also have a lot of shipping containers coming out of the Port of New Orleans and some coming from Mobile. as well. And so there's so many opportunities, great benefits, full benefits, 401k, hourly pay, paying you per mile. Many of the companies have sign-on bonuses. And so that's a great opportunity to put some cash in your pocket initially, hit the road, become an owner operator also. We encourage our students who graduate, don't just drive for a company, but become an owner operator.
Yes.
Own your own truck, then you make more money than the drivers who own their own trucks and contract out themselves. They can make well over $100,000, and so the opportunities are out there. And so we're excited that's here right here in Selma, Alabama.
Absolutely. So if you are listening, share this information. Even if you aren't interested in earning a CDL, you all, this is an opportunity. Wealth Building Wednesday is about building opportunities, sharing opportunities. So this is an extraordinary chance for us to get out on the road. Folks are talking about travel, get paid to travel.
Yeah,
If you're interested in traveling, why not make $100,000 being on the road and seeing the entire country? So call. The numbers are in the chat. And if you have any questions, if you are watching live and have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat as well. So now we're talking about making good wages, right? We've talked about the importance of workforce development in that process. What is the impact of making a living wage? Because this term living wage, we've heard that over the last few years really come to the forefront as there was this argument around $15 an hour. What is the impact of making a living wage?
I'm glad you asked that question. Quite simply put, it allows a family to be able to live off the wages that they are making without any public assistance, or to be able to take care of their family's needs. And that's what we want to do. We want to produce citizens that can take care of their families, send them to school, hopefully to college if they so choose, or job training, be able to pay their bills and save money for the future. So the benefits are increased job satisfaction of the employee. How many times we've gone to, let's say, a Chick-fil-A,
Mm-hmm.
and we enjoy the greeting we get. Welcome to Chick-fil-A. It is my pleasure to serve you. That makes everyone feel better. Now they cost a little bit more, but you get better service, and their line is always wrapped around their building because their employees get paid more money than most fast food chains. And so they have increased job satisfaction. They work harder. They have a better attitude because they're getting paid a living wage in many cases. The other benefit is you have a lower turnover rate. When people get a living wage, they won't quit your job and are constantly looking for 50 cents or $2 more. They stay on that job. You have also increased operational efficiency. Those people that are paid good on the jobs, they're satisfied, and they're concerned about the quality of the work they turn out. You have improved productivity. They can turn out more work, better quality work, and it's more efficient. Enhancements in innovative thinking, when you engage your employees as a team to grow and incentivize them to go back and get training. And so those are some of the benefits to companies. We've seen companies that have come in locally that were paying lower wages that shifted to paying higher wages. Their productivity went up, their job satisfaction went up, and turnover rate went down. And so that's what companies are always looking at, how to retain good employees. And they've seen that when they pay more money, the company ends up making more money. It makes up the difference of the higher wage they're paying. So those are the benefits of a higher wage or a living wage.
And I really am so glad that you also leaned into the importance of and emphasized the importance of a living wage, not just from the worker perspective, but from the employer's perspective.
Yes.
That lack of turnover, because it says a lot when you can consistently call an agency or go to a restaurant and you see the same faces that and you see people who have gone up through the ranks, right? That may have started on providing customer service, and then now they are middle management, and then become the general manager of the entire store. There's no shame. We have to introduce this to our young people. There's no shame at working at McDonald's.
No.
There's no shame in working at Burger King or Pizza Hut because I tell you what, you can also then become a franchisee. And then that means that you now have worked up through the ranks. And McDonald's in particular has a world-class business institute connected to
Exactly.
their
Yeah, in fact,
for their managers.
that was my first job working at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I learned that the one that's a multi-billion-dollar corporation,
Yes.
number one, each McDonald's will earn, the ones here locally, they probably earn annually, that store probably $10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are great opportunities in fast food. You learn so much. I hear young people, I have teenage sons, they'll say, well, I'm not going to work that hard for that little bit of money. And so the skills I learned at McDonald's, they taught us standard operational procedures on how to make a Big Mac, how to cook fries, even how to mop the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get a consistent taste from coast to coast at any McDonald's you go to. You know what it's going to taste like. You know how long it'll take to get it, because they even have what's called Hamburger University.
Yep.
They train all their managers, regional managers, and store managers on how to prepare their product, sell their product, and you have consistent quality. And so some of the skills I learned in McDonald's, I still use today. I benefit from today. I didn't like mopping floors back then, but I understood the importance of it to pass your health and safety checks for the health department.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're not serving food that will make people sick. To make sure that the work environment is safe and you don't have grease on the floor, people slip and fall. And so those things are important. And I learned those skills at a McDonald's, at a Popeye's chicken. I worked at a Bojangles chicken, Hardee's, Wendy's. I worked as a janitor at a military base. And I took skills from each of those jobs and helped me to be where I am today. So many people want to start at the top, but it's really learning. You got to learn how to follow and be a good worker before you can be a boss. And so when you learn those skills and appreciate people and have good customer service, it does not cost you anything to say, thank you, welcome to my establishment, may I help you, please. All of us appreciate good customer service. And you don't mind spending money with companies who treat you like a person. We were taught by grandmothers and grandfathers about showing Southern hospitality.
Yes.
I think that's the one thing that Selma's going to get back to, is that our local restaurants and businesses being more hospitable to our own, showing value to our customer. Don't go anywhere and spend your money where you're not valued. If they don't value me as a customer, they will not get my money.
Right.
So those businesses that consistently show good customer service, treat people with respect, they continuously earn higher profits every year. So being nice, being courteous, treating folks how you want to be treated, that's the core of good customer service.
Absolutely. Listen, we are almost out of time, but I am so glad that you brought up this issue of customer service, because I cannot tell you how many times I've had this conversation with folks about customer service, the importance of it, right? And the need for increased training in customer service. But what you alluded to earlier was we get better customer service when people are pleasured by their jobs, right? When it is an honor and a privilege, and people consider it a great thing to go to work, when people look forward to Monday morning, right? We get better service.
Much better service.
So, for all the folks who are watching and listening, please make sure that you are sharing this with people who are business owners, whether locally or anywhere. Small business is the backbone to our country, but we've got to make sure that we understand that it's the employees that make small business happen.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with getting your start in a place like McDonald's, because again, it teaches you, like you said, the routine of things, making sure that you understand consistency, know that integrity matters. And those are all things that that we can learn when we start and pay our dues, Mr. Gourdine. I kept hearing, like, you gotta pay your dues as you were talking, like you gotta pay your dues.
I can go to McDonald's right now and make a Big Mac. So
yes.
When we go to restaurants, treat your waitress with respect. Tip her. Your waitress didn't cook your food.
Right.
And she or he is surviving off tips because they get paid less per hour.
Right.
So tip well, be a good tip.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time. We're definitely going to have you back on. People have just been amening and agreeing with so many of the things that the points that you've made today. So we want to thank you for your time and thank you, our listeners and our viewers, for taking time out to spend Wealth Building Wednesday with us. Y'all, each one teach one. Take this information that you have received, whether you heard it on the radio or you're watching live on Facebook. Take this information and share it with someone. Make this be a conversation starter with a young person in your life. Because listen, you can't be a great boss if you're not a great worker.
Amen.
All right. So until next Wednesday, we look forward to seeing you. Y'all be safe, be blessed, and let's get to building that wealth.